And we're back with some more Showdown in the Badlands card reviews here. This time it's just our neutral cards. We've talked about our Excavate again in the past. First video, we talked about the Excavate mechanic. If you want to see the treasures, go there. We just have the neutrals to go over. And there's a lot of them, of course. So let us start down here, and let's try to get through them quickly as we can. Start with the Miracle Salesman. 1 mana 2/2. Death Rattle will get a tradable Snake Oil. Snake Oil is a 0 mana tradable spell. Deals 0 damage. Put this in like your Sith Mage. Get spell damage on this, and then you got that extra damage generated, and it's free, which is even better for like your Sith Mage. Neat. And it's a 1 mana 2/2, so it's generally good. Tram Mechanic. A 1 mana 2/1. Death Rattle of getting a barrel of sludge. Toxic waste. Handle with care. If you remember from our last video, barrel sludge is, of course, the generally warlock mechanic of a 2 mana fell spell that if it's played, destroyed, or discarded, it'll deal 3 damage to the lowest health enemy. Pretty cool. I like sludge. Bunny Stomper. A 2 mana 1/3 beast. Your beast have rush. Not great. It's just kind of like it's filler neutral, you know. It's rush. It's not like it's charge. Cactus Rager. 2 mana 5/1 with poisonous. The Dry Scale Deputy, a 2 mana 2/2 with the battle cry of the next time you draw a spell, get a copy of it. This one's more interesting than our Ragers. Because say you do this with your warrior, you draw your warrior TNT as your next spell, so you get the 6 mana version of the card in your hand, and then you do the castle draw stuff, and then on that turn you just play the extra one for 6 mana. That's funny. Other spells generally, especially if you're able to tutor different spells, this is pretty nice. You can double up on specific spells. Doubling up on specific spells is pretty good for you. Gold Banner. 2 mana 1/2. At the end of your turn, draw a card. Back at Stormwind, you have, of course, your Woodcutter guy, who was at the start of your turn. Draw a card. He was a 1 mana 2/1 though. This is one extra mana for a guaranteed single draw. His stats are kind of terrible. He'll definitely die. Most likely case, you're only drawing 1 card from this. 2 mana, draw 1 with a little body on board that the enemy has to deal with is okay, I guess, if you're really aggressive, maybe. But I think otherwise this is not good. Greedy Partner. A 2 mana 2/3 with the battle cry of if you're holding another 2-cost card, get a coin. Put this in your coin rogue for some extra coinage. So you can coin and coin for your wishing well, because random legendaries are always good. I think this is really good. Generally, 2-cost cards there's going to be a large amount of them in your deck if you're like generally like low end cost, especially 2 and 3 are generally going to be cards that you have in hand. So it's nice. Howdy Finn. A 2 mana 2/3 Murloc. Once again, 2/3 basic stats. Whenever your hand has less than 3 cards in it, get a random Murloc. So you just infinite Murlocs on if you have like an empty hand. Neat, cute art. Excavate. This is our Excavate card. We got a 2 mana 1/1, which will battle cry Excavate a treasure. This is one of the neutral Excavates. Little nice. Saloon Brewmaster, 2 mana 2/2 with Battlecry of Return. Friendly minion to your hand, and give it 2/2/2. Brewmaster of old, of course, didn't really play. This is another bounce effect. Think about bouncing, say, your Azurite Snake or your other Azurite stuff. And this car is looking much better because you bounce them and then you do the thing. Maybe for the memes of it, slot it into your Highlander deck, Outlander rather deck. To just recast your Outlander card, your Outlaw rather. Um, it's funny. I don't really think it does see play. Probably, probably being the keyword. Maybe I'll probably run it in a few decks because it's just maybe, maybe you'll do something. I hold out hope. We got Trapdoor Spider. It's a 2-mana 1/2 beast with stealth and poisonous. After your opponent plays a minion, attack it. This is like your gangster or your King Mosh, not King Mosh, Swamp King Dread of old. Your Daryl. Daryl, is that what your whatever? Uh, yeah, kills a minion. It's cute. Doesn't really think it see play. Whelp Wrangler. A 2-mana 2/3. That at the beginning of your turn, you add a 1/2 whelp with taunt into your hand. Yeah, I don't really see this seeing play because these are 1-mana 1/2s with taunt. The happy whelps. I don't think you play this in like your dragon druid. Even though you want dragons in your hand, you want good dragons in your hand rather. So I don't think you really play this. Bounty board, 3-mana 0/5 with the Lawman cheat. So your excavate, quick draw, tradable, and legendary cards will cost 1 less. If a card has multiple of the same keywords, it does not stack. So your so Drillium will not in fact cost 3 less, unfortunately, but it'll cost 1 less. There could be some cute like combo you might do with this, and the coming up legendary here, legendary that's coming up in a little bit here. That could be cute, but otherwise not that great. Eroded Sediment. It is a 3-mana 4/3 elemental. This is again elemental synergy for like your shaman or your mage. Battlecry. If you've played an elemental last turn, you'll discover an elemental from the past. This could get you Zephyrus on the top end. There's a lot of bad elementals in the past though, and you're probably going to mostly get bad elementals. Say you run this in shaman, you could get Kalamos. You could get Grumble your Shake. You could get there's some nice elementals more in shaman, but there are a lot of neutral elementals that are kind of crap. Flint Firearm, a 3-mana 3/3 legendary minion. Battlecry, get a random quick draw card. If you play it this turn, repeat. Think of that shaman card from Scholomance, where you get a spell, and then you play a spell, and you get a spell, and you play a spell, you play that spell, you get another spell. Kind of like that. Except with quick draw cards. There are some quick draw cards, like the class quick draw cards, are okay with this. It could be cool. Say you're doing this with a bounty board, a couple bounty board maybe, bounty board, and say it's like bounty board, a couple bounty boards. Think of those. Let's think about a whack ass combo. Couple bounty boards. This guy, you discover like your rehydrate. Your priest when you're doing this. You play your healing deals damage instead. That 2-mana spell, Embrace the Shadows or whatever it's called. Deal 7 damage. Refresh 2-mana crystals. Get another random quick draw card, and then just do that at infinitum for infinite damage. It's not going to happen. It's not good, but it's cute. Anyway, Gaslight Gatekeeper. Oh, this girl is such a boss. This is our 3-mana 3/4 undead with wonderful flavor text, and the battle cry of shuffling your hand into your deck and then drawing that many cards. This is plot twist on a stick. So in Warlock of old, you got that for 2 mana. Think so. Then you're getting 1 mana for a 1 mana spider tank, technically, with that effect. There are some cards. This will help you, say, in your warrior once you've shuffled your TNT, can help you get to your TNT because it's actually drawing them, unlike Finley, which swaps your hand with your deck. This is actually a draw effect, so things that are happy when they're drawn, like quick draw cards, is even better. The Gattlesnake, a 3 mana 1/5 beast. At the end of your turn, load 2 bullets that deal 1 damage each. Death Rattle, fire them at random enemies. So this is bad. If it for this to be an okay card, you want it to survive for at least 3 turns. That's the minimum for being okay. I knew Duelist, a 3 mana 4/3 Death Rattle. Draw. Destroy the card that costs less. So if both players draw a card, and if yours costs more, you destroy the opponent's card that they drawed. Wow. But if theirs costs more, you destroy your own card. Horseshoe Slinger, 3 mana, 2/2 mech. Battlecry, deal 2 damage to a random enemy minion. But if you quick draw it, it'll do it to one of its neighbors as well. Yeah, this is bad. I don't have to really. I don't want to go into. I don't need to go into the detail why this is bad. This is just not a good card. Its effect is not great. Its effect, even when quick drawn. That's the correct verbiage. Even when quick drawn is not good. Line Dance Partner. This is one of those partner cards again. 3 mana 3/2 with the battle cry of if you're holding another 3-cost card, summon a random 3-cost minion. There are a lot of decent 3-cost minions in the pool now. Think about that. Like that priest one that is a 3/8. Some nice little ones. Yeah, it's cute. Decently likely to happen, probably. If you're like a more fast type deck, generally you'll probably be able to get this effect to go off. I don't see it as that good, really, but yeah. Ogre Gang! This is the Ogre Gang Art Law. This is 3 mana 4/4 with Rush, 50% chance to attack the wrong enemy. Ogre Brute is rolling in his grave. He was the original 3 mana 4/4 with a 50% chance to attack the wrong enemy. But this guy has Rush. He's speeding in there. He's part of the Ogre Gang. And we'll see more of them. Because the Ogre Gang, there's more Ogre. Azurite Chain Gang, however, is, of course, think Serenite Chain Gang, except with Quick Draw. 4 mana 2/3 with Taunt and Battlecry and Quick Draw, it'll summon a copy. So if you play the same turn you get it, manage to get it, you'll summon 2 of them. So you'll summon 3 2/3s for 4 mana. Think about this with your hand buff, your taunt buff rather, with warrior, and you're thinking pretty cool about this because you're summoning copies. Bang Blasted Elemental. It's a 4 mana 3/3 elemental with taunt and death rattle of dealing 2 damage to all minions except for friendly elementals. So you're elementaling, you got this little taunt in the way, and that dang nabbing, bang blasting, rootin' tootin' high elemental just gets in their way and then deals a bunch of damage. Little consecration after the fact. Ogre Gang Rider. Ogre Gang is back. It's a 4 mana 3/6 with a rush. 50% chance to give your hero +3 attack this turn instead of attacking. So when he attacks, he has a chance of giving you the 3 attack instead of him attacking himself. Cute. Ogre Gang. There is more ogre to come. Rowdy Partner. Rowdy Partner. A 4-mana 4/3 battle cry. If you're holding another 4-cost card, much like before, deal 4 damage. This is the hardest one to get off because really, if you're it's 4-mana cards are the hardest to have multiple of in your hand, and the payoff of deal 4 damage is not good enough for this to really matter. Sheriff Barrel Brim. It's the sheriff here. He's a 4-mana 4/4 with the battle cry of if you have 20 health or less, open the Badlands Jail. Badlands Jail, of course, is a location. It does make a minion go dormant for 3 turns. S3 durability. So you can just bully a minion. You can just bully a minion for the rest of the game if you want. Keep him in jail forever. I guess it's like if you're like a control type deck, I don't think you're going to be below 20 or below that often. I think its effect is not great enough to really run, but he does have a nice hat. Speaking of nice hats, we got a 4-mana 4/5 Naga with the death rattle of shuffling 2 of those snake oils from before into your opponent's deck, however. So you can it both disrupts it's disruption for their Outlander decks, and it's also it's a benefit for those rainbow mages that will then use those cards to sift you to death. However, also with this is it's much like Albatross and stuff with making dead draws. Essentially, is what you're trying to do. Make them pay 1 mana to get the card they would have otherwise drawn. Speaking of drawing cards, something that has nothing to do with drawing cards. 5 mana 6/4 mech with Rush and Battle Cry of Excavating into Treasure. This is the other neutral excavation. Again, Excavate is pretty overcosted because extra mana. But it's a nice little rusher. It's your excavation stuff. You run in your excavation decks because you have to. Except for maybe Rogue. Rogue Excavate, you can probably just bounce enough that you don't care about running a bad card like Burrow Buster. Burrow Buster. Right. I said the right word. All right. 5 mana 3/4. Cattle Rustler is a battle cry of drawing a beast. It'll cost 3 less. So you tutor a beast and mana cheat it. Cute. Always want to watch out for mana cheat type cards in case they do something. If you're doing it in like a hunter deck, this is like, 2-mana spider tank. Ogre Gang! Woo! This is the Ogre Gang Ace, a 5-mana 5/4 with Rush. All the Ogre Gang have Rush. Whenever this attacks, however, it gains Divine Shield. Except for 50% of the time. 50% of the time, it gains Lifesteal every time. I think most of the time you want it to get the Divine Shield. And you'll be pretty sad most of the time that it gets Lifesteal. This is our Ogre Gang payoff. This is Kingpin Pud. A 6-mana 6/7. So you already got those good stats, but you got upside as well. You're bringing your Ogre Gang back. And you're giving them Wind Fury. So any of the Ogre Gang that you have died this game already, like if you've turn 3 Ogre, turn 4 Ogre, turn 5 Ogre, turn 6 Kingpin Pud, you summon all 3 of them back, and they get Wind Fury, and then you can Ogre Gang because they all have Rush. Generally, you also could play him later in the game if you're doing Ogre Gang stuff. You're running really bad cards, but it's awesome. It's Ogre. It's cool. Speaking of cool, here's something that's the opposite of that. It is a 6-mana 6/6 with tradable. It's Dragon with Lifesteal and Quick Draw. Is the Sunspot Dragon. It deals 6 damage when you Quick Draw it. So deal 6 and you gain 6 health if you Quick Draw it. So it's only really good with Quick Draw, but luckily it also has tradable, so you can just put it right back in your deck if it's too early for it. So that's nice. You could run in like your Dragon Druid for a nice little pop of health there. I think you like it. Azurite Giant. This is more elemental payoff. You got an 8-mana 8/8 elemental. It costs 1 less for each turn in a row you've played an elemental. Not this game though, so yeah, it has to be in a row, much like Scar before. It has to be in a row. If you play a few in a row early on and then break that chain, he's going to cost back to 8 again. But yeah, that is the Azurite Giant. Maybe you play him in your elemental decks. If you play him like your elemental decks and you're reliable, especially like elemental shaman, where you're probably going to be able to reliably elemental each turn, building up to the Scar, you might get this guy to being free or very cheap enough to continue cycling him through as a big guy in your elemental lineup. Our Highlander neutral payoff. This is Reno, the Lone Ranger. He is an 8-mana hero card. With the battle cry of if you are an Outlander deck, empty the enemy board and limit it to 1 minion for a turn. So, your opponent's board is full of, they have maybe like a location, maybe you're okay. So you're against this control warlock. They got their Sargeras portal. They've got some imps. They got some other stuff still hanging around. You play this Reno. It clears everything. The portal gone. The imps gone. The enemy's hopes and dreams gone. Hotel Travago. And then they can only play 1 minion. They have 1 board slot for the next turn. On their next turn, they'll have 1 board slot, but that's only lasts for a turn. His hero power is Reno's Hand Cannon, which each turn it changes to a random one of these bullets. Each bullet is 2 damage plus a bonus effect. So this one will 2 damage and refresh 2 mana crystals, so it's 2 damage for free. A little wild combo you might be able to do with this. You get your 6 mana 6/6 dragon that you can hero power infinitely, and then you just use this infinitely for lethal. It's cute. Frost Bullet is deal 2, gain 4 armor. So it's deal 2 damage and do an upgraded warrior hero power. Nice. Fire Bullet. Deal 2 damage, then deal 1 damage to all enemy minions. Cute. Very cute one. Holy Bullet. Deal 2 damage and give a random friendly minion +2/+2. So buff a friendly minion. Really, you have to have a friendly minion for this to be okay. For this to be a good time to hero power. Otherwise, you probably wait for the other hero powers. Nature Bullet here, which will discover you a spell. A Shadow Bullet will summon you a 3-cost minion randomly, of course. And then the Fell Bullet will draw you a card. Fell Bullet, Arcane Bullet, and Shadow Bullet, I think, are the best of them. I think the worst one is Nature Bullet is really good as well. Holy Bullet is the worst. Fire and Frost Bullet are okay. This is a nice little payoff for your Outlander decks. When you play him, you are still the same class. So if you play him as a warrior, you'll still be a warrior once he's done his thing. You're still technically a warrior. It doesn't override your current class. But yeah, that is the Lone Ranger. A nice card here. I think this is the last card, in fact. Thunderbringer. It's an 8-mana 6/6. We all have him. We all have Thunderbringer already. Is an elemental beast that with taunt, and it has the death rattle of summoning an elemental and a beast from your deck. It's there's the big paladin that's I think running him. To summon like the augmented elks and Ragnaroses and Neptulons from your deck. Same thing for like the death rattle rogue that exists. And that is it. That is all the neutrals. So overall, I of course love the flavor of sets. I love set flavor. The Wild West theme I think is very nice. For most of them, you got the warrior with their blast mining. I've had to, you know, mental gymnastics my way around why their bombs are taunt stuff, and their excavate cards are kind of lame. Well, bad rather. You got warlock with their tram, their sludge making tram. They got their fracken. Um, it's nice. I love the sludge. I'm gonna love trying to use that steam cleaner sludge deck. It's gonna be terrible. I'm gonna love it. Um, elemental shaman looking lovely. I'm going to love doing some elemental shaman stuff. Uh, rogue, coin rogue looks fun. Thief rogue always is fun to just do because it's thief. It's fun. William or Drillium rather. Um, cute little guy. I think he has a signature card for him. Priest. I like the Pip the Potent play around stuff. The bottled effects. Their outlaw here, Elise, is the worst of the outlaws, I think, by far. Paladin, you got some weird hand buff stuff going on. I think I generally don't like the Paladin cards, mainly because I'm mostly playing Big Paladin when I'm playing Paladin, and none of this fits for Big Paladin. Um, None of this really goes into a Big Paladin deck. Maybe your not even your Showdown, because I think the Showdown like minions. Let me look here, because they're outlaws. Yeah, they're Paladin minions, so that breaks your res pool a bit. Makes your res pool even worse. Um, Worsens your res pool, which you don't want to do. So yeah, mage. Mage really didn't get a lot. I think the excavation is always. I like the excavation, of course. Excavation, of course, works with the Blood Watcher guy, but kind of. It doesn't really fully work with it. It is what it is. It is what it is. Mage didn't really get a lot. Hunter really got nothing. They got like Messenger Buzzard, and that's about it, really, for cards. Druid got dragons. Druid everything they got was dragons. Dragon Druid is going to be a thing, and it's going to be fun, I think. Demon Hunter, I really like the flavor cards Demon Hunter got here. You got the Kurtrus shooting cards in your hand. It's the most unique effect out of all of our outlaws. You got Snake Eyes, which is some more random fun. You got Nagas. Nagas are cute. Um, and then Death Knight. They're pushing because of all those one things. They might be like casually nudging Rainbow Death Knight just a little bit, with all this. Maybe eventually we'll Rainbow Death Knight before poor old before we lose it. I mean, we have climatic tectonic explosion for another year, of course. The next 3 sets we'll still have it, but we'll also be losing a lot of cards in between then, and it hopefully being decent. I think their excavate card, their excavate like payoff type cards are for the most part really good, up there with Warlock among the best of them. Their excavate play around cards are among the best of them. Warlocks is of course superior because of trains, but yeah. So I am excited to play this all on the 14th, of course. I'm going to be theory crafting a bunch of decks in the meantime and show them off beforehand, show what decks I'm going to be trying out day of week 1 of the expansion and stuff. Thank you for joining me for looking at all these cards. If you are indeed still here, until next time, I have been Monty, and I will see you. Goodbye.